Hey guys, so to go over in a little bit more detail, the story T.S.A. and Cinnamon Buns, we have the exposition actually occurring after the introduction of the conflict. So Ruhani discusses the conflict at the very beginning of the story when she mentions the dialogue quote of, "You are going to have to take that thing off, sir." So that quote to begin the story is actually the introduction of the conflict. So I want you guys to understand that not every story starts with the once upon a time where you go into exposition and lay it all out. There are different formats of storytelling and narration and personal narrative writing. And among those are putting various aspects of the story and front loading it at the beginning. Why is that a good strategy? Any number of reasons. One is it takes you right into action mode. So instead of this slow build up where, okay, we're learning about the characters, think about books that you've read or movies that you watched. Do you really want to always have that slow build up where you have to invest so much time in learning about the characters and the setting and where the story's taking place? Or do you want to just get right into action mode where something happens and then you make sense of it as the story unfolds? And that's pretty much what we have with Ruhani's story. Is she takes you right into action mode. She gets your attention with that tension. She gets your attention with the tension that she introduces through that command, that quote from the authority figure. Get that power dynamic. We're curious. We want to read on and find out, hey, what's going on here? This sounds interesting. So you can do that. You can also do that. We won't talk about it this summer, but you can also do that with anecdotes where you can move part of the story that's giving background information, but it's an anecdote. It's a story that gives context, a story within a story. Here, we just have the conflict introduced, and then Ruhani, with this statement by the security officer, then Ruhani gives all the exposition and all the context after that fact. It helps you make sense of it. But as a reader, you're already invested. You're already there. You're already, with her on this journey. You're with her at the TSA checkpoint in that airport, experiencing what she's experiencing. Again, she has that vivid descriptive language talking about the smell of the cinnamon buns. She's talking about how she felt and the tension surrounding this incident. We have all that rising action leading to a climax, which basically is her telling her dad, just take it off, and then him complying. Now notice that in the story, it doesn't give any great description of him taking the turban off. So the climactic moment of her saying, just take it off, Dad, is the moment where all the tension that was building up in her mind about the guilt, how she felt as far as being embarrassed and the shame, everything that's going into the conflict between how she feels she should be acting as an American with all the other Americans and the people at the airport staring at her and having a different expectation versus based on or in comparison to how she feels she should act based on being her father's daughter, number one, and also a member of this particular religious faith and a cultural expression of wearing the turban. So at this point, she's just telling her dad, just take it off. Let's just end this now. So that's the climax, but we never are actually told. She never actually describes him taking it off. So him taking off the turban was not the climax. It was her telling him to take it off, where she just felt this cathartic release of hey, I just told him, what to do, and he complied. For my sake, probably. And then we have all the falling action, and then we have the resolution. Now, remember when I talked about the resolution in the story, the resolution being that she realizes that through writing and expressing herself through writing, she can make sense of incidents such as these, such as this. So she's learning, and I'm going to take you back to the text here in a second. So that's the resolution of the story. So the resolution isn't, her getting on the airplane and eating the cinnamon buns and realizing that they didn't taste as sweet, or her shame, or that's part of the aftermath of the story. But the ultimate resolution is her coming to the realization that she can use writing and she can use her ability to kind of make sense of this in a big picture aspect to further her understanding about who she is and what her place is in the world, and do that in a way that allows her to cope with the demands that are placed on her on apparently a pretty regular basis, based on being different and being of a different culture and ethnicity. So I just wanted to point out briefly that for this story, we have these elements. They're all still there. They're all still part of the story arc. They're just sequenced in a way that's not perfectly linear. Linear means in sequential order based on either time, chronology in that case, or logic. In this case, we have elements moved around, but they're still there. And you can move these elements around and still be effective in the way you present them. So let me know if you have any questions on that. Let me know if you feel like the way Ruhani conveyed all this through these structural and writing strategies, that you think she was effective. Do you think the structural elements that she used and the order she used them in and the strategies she used in her writing, as we've talked about, do you think that those are particularly effective in this story? And if so, are they for the reasons that I mentioned, or did you find anything else that I've missed here? I'd be curious to know. Let me know your feedback. Leave comments in the comments section. And if you have any questions, let me know.